Hi, my Golden Hill Eagles. Today I'm going to show you how to use some very simple lines and shapes to create a drawing of a fox. Now in the art room with me, we have been learning about different kinds of lines and we're going to put some of them to use. You might even want to take some time after you're done drawing to show your adults at home how you can use your body to make different types of line like we've been doing in the classroom. But today I'm going to start with a piece of paper the tall way. It can be white paper, it can have the lines on it, it can be a colored piece of paper, but I'm going to say you're probably going to want to stick with a pencil. A pencil is always a great drawing tool because if you make any mistakes, you can erase. And I'm going to use my paper the tall way, and I'm going to start about in the middle by making two ovals. An oval is like a squished circle. So one oval, two ovals, and I'm leaving a little space in between them because they're going to become the eyes of my owl. And then inside my oval, I'm going to add one little circle in each oval. This is going to become the highlight of my eyes of the fox. A highlight is where the sun is reflecting off the eye. And then I'm taking my pencil and I'm just slowly and carefully filling in around that little circle so that it stays whatever color of the paper you're using. If it's white paper, it stays white. There you go. So those are the two eyes of my fox. Now, in the center of my two eyes, but a little bit further down, I'm going to make just a little curve, It's like an upside down smile. And then I'm going to come down from the middle of my curve and make a little dot, just a tiny dot, and I'm going to use that as a guideline. And I'm going to connect one side of my curve to that dot and then the other side of the curve to that dot. So this almost looks like the letter V. And then again I'm going to use my pencil to shade it in, to color it in. This is the nose of my fox. Now, we've talked about ovals, circles, a curve, and then these two lines, we would call those diagonal lines because they were on their side. I'm going to use some big curves next. And I'm going to come up here to my fox's nose to the top, almost to the middle, and I'm going to draw a large curve that goes through the eye. That's why we've colored in. So I've made one curve that goes through the eye over to the right, and then I'm going to do the same thing over to the left. So two curved lines. Looks almost like whiskers, but it's going to become part of like the snout, the face of the fox. Now I'm going to connect these two lines together. We're going to be using lots of curves today. I'm going to make a curve that connects these two together. Oops, I came a little off, so I'm just extending it. So just making a curve. My table that I'm working on is a little bumpy, so it's making my line a little bumpy. Hopefully you have a smoother table. I'm going to pick up, you can see mine's all scratched up. So there's the top of my fox's head. And now I'm going to connect those same two lines from the bottom though to make the bottom of my fox's face, his head. There we go. And you can add a little curve over to the side for like a smile on his face. And then up toward the top, we're going to add two triangles. So at the top of that top curve of the fox's head, I'm going to draw a diagonal straight line off to the side. And then I'm going to bring it back down to the curve. And instead of making it super straight, I made it just a little bit of a bend to it. And then on this side, I'm going to repeat. I'm going to draw a diagonal line out to the side, and come back around and curve it down. Now we've got to work on the body of the fox. This one might be a little bit of a tricky line, so I'm going to start over on the side of the fox's head, kind of about at the same height of where the fox's nose is. And I'm going to make a wavy line that comes down and lines up, stops and lines up right where the fox's nose is. So then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to make a wavy line that comes in and meets that other wavy line. Now I'm going to add the two front paws, legs of the fox. It's like sitting on the ground. So I'm going to make this long, it's like a long tall letter U come off of one side. It's like a big deep curve. And then I'm going to make another long U that comes off of this side. These are the front legs. And then I can add a couple of straight vertical lines to show the toes on the paws of the fox. And then coming right over where I made that wavy line, I'm going to come down and connect it with a curve to the paw on the left, and then come connect it to the paw on the right, and then in the center make another little curve. So this is just showing the rest of the fox's body. And then you can decide what side you want the tail to come off of. I have space on either side, but if you have more space on one side, you can do it on there. So I might make a diagonal line come off over to the left side, and then I'm going to connect it. Fox, their tails are really poofy. I'm going to do a big curve to connect it back down to the body. And then my favorite line, a zigzag line to show the different colors from one part of the tail to the other. And then that's it. And then comes the fun part. You could add the ground if you wanted to, where the fox is sitting. Maybe there's some fall leaves that are falling to the ground around the fox. Maybe there's a tree coming off to the side where the fox is sitting. You decide. And then of course have some fun adding some color. So enjoy. I can't wait to see your fox drawings, remembering to just use those very simple lines, diagonal straight lines, lots of curves, straight lines, and even some shapes like triangles, ovals, and circles. Happy creating!